This is All Access MMA.
Great seeing my next guest compete on Contender Series coming up here on October 5th. It is Fernie Garcia joining me here on the program for the very first time. Fernie, how's it going, man?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, pleasure's all mine, man. Really excited. I got to know right off the bat, when did you find out about this? Obviously a big moment in your fight career.
I found out about it, like 8 weeks ago?
Okay.
Well, 6 weeks ago. 8 weeks away from the fight, which is kind of nice because I had been fighting for LFA, and you kind of just have to stay ready. And, in LFA, they would tell me like a week and a half, 2 weeks. That's kind of what we're at.
Interesting. So plenty of notice. Were you able to tell people right away? I know that's one of the things they do is that they'll tell you and then they're like, just wait till we announce it. So you probably had to keep it under wraps.
Yeah, I kind of kept it under wraps for a long time. I probably announced it, like 2 weeks ago. So I knew a good 4 to 5 weeks before I even told anybody, not even my family. I didn't even tell them. I just kind of wanted to hold it under wraps until it was for sure.
I'm assuming this is something you were expecting with your record, where you fought in terms of LFA, the level of competition. Was this something I assumed was the next step for you that you were kind of figuring was going to happen?
Yes, of course. I mean, I went into a 5-fight win streak and then a 4-fight win streak, so I knew a call was coming soon. Whether it was UFC or Contender, and Contender came calling, so I was all for it.
First time you and I have had a chance to talk. I got to know, how did this journey start for you? How did you get involved in combat sports?
Same old typical story. Of course, before high school, I mean, I'm Mexican, so I was always in the boxing gym since I was little. High school, I got a little bit more into wrestling, grappling. I got obsessed when I was grappling. In high school, I got obsessed with jiu-jitsu, and that's where all my time went. And then it was just recently when I found my way back to boxing again, and I started taking my fights back to stand up, and fell in love back with boxing again. But I mean, I'm super well rounded. But I mean, like I said, I've been grappling for 10 years now, boxing for 10 years now. So, comfortable everywhere.
That's great. And I heard about you a while ago, actually, because I interview a lot of the fighters over at Fortis. How did you end up training at Fortis? Because you happen to be at one of the best camps in the world. It's pretty amazing.
So I'm from El Paso, Texas. And when I made my pro debut, my first fight, I had a tough split decision. I beat a favorite guy from Arizona. He was training at the lab at the moment, and I barely beat him. But after I beat him, I knew I had to make a change. I was like, I don't think I can survive many of these wars. I need to find the next big thing. So, I looked around, of course, Texas. At the time, Coach Safe and his gym was making a lot of waves and up in Octagon MMA. So when he opened up Fortis, as soon as he opened up Fortis, I knew that he was, building that super team over there. So without thinking twice, I just grabbed my stuff and moved. So the first week that Fortis opened, I was there that same week.
Oh, cool. One of the old OGs then. That's pretty cool. Because I know, it's something that's safe. It was sort of a long time coming, him starting the gym. And then now it's this powerhouse, right? Like you see who trains there now. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah. So even when I lived in El Paso, I kept on hearing about Octagon, Coach Safe. I would keep an eye on like the legacy, and I would hear about Damon Jackson and Miles Johns coming up and Steven Peterson. So I was like, man, that's where I gotta be. So as soon as Fortis opened, I was there that first week.
And you're on board, as they say. And then also, in terms of being on the regional scene, do you have another job on top of fighting, or are you a full-time fighter? Or do you have sponsors? How are you keeping the lights on these days?
Now I'm a full-time fighter. I used to work at Wells Fargo. I was a bank at Wells Fargo. And
no way. Okay, cool.
Yeah, now I'm a full-time fighter.
Now, did you feel like Clark Kent? Because you had sort of like a day job like at a bank, and then here you are competing as a fighter.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I knew I had to go full time into fighting. I just knew it at this level. You just have to.
Okay. How recently did you quit that job?
About 2 months ago.
Oh, good for you. Okay, well, that's awesome. Going all in, as they say. That's great. We talked about it off the top. Really tough opponent, undefeated. How do you feel like you match up against him in this fight?
I feel like I match up good against anybody. I mean, like I said, my stand-up's great, my wrestling's great, my takedown defense great, my jiu-jitsu's great. So they couldn't give me, they could have given me anybody. I was gonna feel very comfortable against anybody. I mean, I'm actually glad I got Capaldo because he carries a whole lot of hype behind him, and he's the superstar kid and gone viral a couple of times. So I mean that definitely helps my case.
We talked about LFA there. That, I think, is the best promotion to compete in if you're on the regional scene, right? The matchmaking's tough. The exposure's great. I mean, you look at how many fighters are in the UFC right now that came from LFA. How much do you feel like that experience will benefit you on Contender Series? Because you've already fought for like this big regional promotion. You've had good fights. How much are you sort of relying on that in this fight, just with, with what you've already been through?
It's definitely helped me. I mean, I had a last tough couple fights, and the lights are pretty bright in LFA, man. It definitely helps you get ready for the UFC. But I think what my experience that's going to come in play, I'll be getting from Fortis. It's I've been there 3-4 years already, and every day in and out, going against guys like Miles Johns, Damon Jackson, Peterson, Elijah Johns, Austin Lango. I mean, the list goes on and on. I think that's where I've been getting prepared for the contender in the UFC.
Yeah, and I'm sure the confidence level goes up knowing you're training with guys that are in the UFC. That list you just mentioned, they're all UFC guys, except for Elijah, but he's not far behind in terms of what he's been doing on the regional scene. And then kind of sticking with that topic, as far as main training partners for this camp, is it those guys you mentioned or anyone else we missed? Anyone else you're mainly working with for this one?
No, I've had the same training partners for a long time, they all changed. Miles Johns, but I've been going to Miles Johns for last year, like basically every day we go to war every single day, His last couple of fights have matched up with my style, so I've been the main guy with him. So, it's now he's been helping me out with Capaldo. I truly believe he's a better version of Capaldo, and, I feel great going in.
How about the weight cut? Fight's coming up pretty soon. Seem like you're in a good mood. It sounds like everything's on point.
I've never had any trouble with my weight, man. We're professional over here in Fortis. That's never been an issue at all.
That's good. Is it much of a cut for you? How much weight do you typically cut? You don't have to give me exact figures, but is it tough cut?
560. But I mean, I've been doing it for so long. I already have it exact to the dot. So it's never a problem for me at all. I mean, that week before the weigh-in, I cut maybe 15 pounds, but it comes out so fast. So I'm not worried about that.
Does it help that you have teammates with upcoming fights? I just spoke to Damon yesterday. I know he's got his fight coming up against Charles Rosa. Macy's got her big fight against Aspen Ladd. I know Macy mixes it up with you guys as well. Does that help in the gym when everyone's kind of getting ready at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps, but I mean, we've been going through that for 2-3 years now, so I think we're all just used to it, But everybody's in it helps because everybody's in their A game. You're not gonna have a guy that's kind of like not feeling so well or just kind of like half-assing it. Not that you have that regardless, but everybody's just in their A game at every single day. Everybody's trying to win their rounds, Even when I go with Miles, like he's not giving me any free stuff. Like he's trying to win his rounds. I go with Macy's trying to, win her rounds, and it's just super competitive at the gym. And I mean, that's what we need.
I imagine Safe's going to be in your corner. Who else will be in the cage with you that night?
Steven Peterson. He'll be making a trip with me. So Steven's been there for all my fights. He's been there since I got to Fortis. He's the one that kind of took me in under his wing, and he's helped me transition to Dallas very well. So he's been there. He's cornered me for all my fights. So it's just.
Yeah, it's sort of natural. Every fight, it's like a pre-fight thing. You got to have Steve Ocho in your corner, right? As they say, so that's great.
Like my brother there, he's always been there.
Good to hear, man. How's this fight playing out? I know you feel like you're going to win, but how do you envision the fight playing out?
I'm hoping it kind of just we stand up. He has a lot of head kick knockouts, a lot of stand up highlights. So I'm hoping that's where the fight takes place. I'm hoping we go to war and we impress Dana and. Whoever falls, and that person will probably get the contract. But I'm hoping that's how it goes down. I'm hoping we meet in the middle, and we go at it, and whoever falls. I'm just not trying to. I mean, I've been wrestling for a long time. My takedown defense is great, but I mean, I just hope he doesn't try to just wrestle in front of Dana White, where I'm gonna have to be defending takedowns for 15 minutes, which I'm totally comfortable with. If he wants to go out there and wrestle me, which I think he will do. I'm not worried at all, man. I'm telling you again. I keep name dropping, but man, Miles Johns, Damon Jackson, best wrestlers. I mean, Miles Johns and Damon Jackson are the best wrestlers in Texas, top wrestlers in the country, and in MMA. So if he wants to go out there and try to wrestle, I mean, I'm so ready for that. My back's not gonna hit the mat. Trust me. I'm gonna defend all these takedowns. I'm gonna force, to make it a stand-up fight. But I'm just saying, hopefully he's willing to not even go there and just kind of go out there and try to impress Dana White. he's trying to go viral again. He's trying to land one of his crazy kicks, spinning, flying shit, whatever he does. So hopefully he goes and tries to do that. Well, I try to stick my jab in his face like I always do.
Your job's to go in there and fight, but I can't help but I'm sure you're thinking a little bit about the fact that they've already given out a ton of contracts. I think every winner so far of their fight is got a contract. Is that something you've thought of at all, or are you just like, it doesn't matter, I'm going to go out there and do what I got to do?
I haven't really thought about, that's never crossed my mind about getting a contract. I'm thinking about winning.
Yeah.
I mean, the way I win, I'm not a lay and pray guy. So
yeah, it's entertaining.
If I win, it's going to be an exciting fight, That's what I was going back to. I mean, I would say, I thought he was going to try to wrestle and pin me against the cage and just kind of make it a boring fight. That's what I'm worried about. I mean, not that he can keep me in the cage for long or on my back long, but that's what I was worried about. But no, I'm not worried about getting the contract, because if I win, I'm pretty sure I'll get the contract, because I'll put him out, or it'll be a super exciting fight.
And before we go, talked all about fighting. What about downtime? What about hobbies? What are some things you like outside of MMA? I don't know if you watch any other sports, or you're into like hiking, or you're watching Netflix, or playing video games, anything like that comes on your radar. What else are you into?
Man, I don't want to sound super corny, but just all my time has been consumed by MMA at this point.
You and me both.
At this point, I'm just really trying to make the UFC, and I feel like all my teammates are in the UFC. I'm the only one kind of that's not in. So I feel like I've been working twice as harder. I feel like I have to work twice as much as them. And any downtime, I'm at the boxing gym. And another downtime, I'm at jiu-jitsu gym, wrestling. So all my downtime is just going to a martial art or training for a fight. So I don't mean to sound super corny, but honestly, that's where all my time for the last 2 years have been going. Any days off, any free hour, training, always training.
There you go. Love it, man. And we're looking forward to this Dana White's Contender Series, October 5th. Fernie, it was great talking to you, man. Excited to see this fight. Just remind people where they can get a hold of you on social media. And if you got any sponsors or shout outs, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, you can get a hold of me on Instagram and Twitter my thing is at Team F Garcia. Team F Garcia, same thing for Twitter and Instagram. Sponsors, Furlough Insurance and Fortis, of course.